Okay, so in today's session, we will learn some basics, the language fundamental, in which we will cover a few things uh, very quickly. One is keywords, what is keyword, and primitive data types, identifiers, different type of the literals, string literals, and the Java comments. So this will take very less time to cover it. So we'll start it from the scratch that what is keyword. I hope you all are getting my voice clearly and the screen is visible to all of you. Good. Thank you, Induja. So let's see what is keyword and how to define it. In every programming language, either you are talking C, C++, Java, or Python, or any programming language. So programming languages reserve some word for its syntax. So those reserved words are called keywords. So in Java, there are 53 keywords. Okay. Language version to version it varies. So till the Java 9 and Java 10, it was 53. Maybe in Java 13, maybe Java introduced some more reserved words, but in till the Java 9 and 10, the counting is 53. So now look at the definition. If you want to note down, then you can note the definition. And the keywords are the special reserved words, as the mention in your, as you can see in the slide, in Java, that you cannot use as identifier. You cannot use as identifier. Identifier means uh, the name you put for the class, the name you put for methods, the name you put for the variables. So as you define your tokens as classes, methods, or variables in your coding, so those should not be keywords. Uh, why we shouldn't put the keywords as classes, methods, and the variables name? Because these have the meaning to the compiler. So whenever these keywords comes into your code, the compiler put the special meaning that is defined for the compiler, that what should be execute in place of that keyword. So we should not use these keywords as identifier. It uses them to figure out what your source code is trying to do. For example, if you write for, if you write if in your code, so the compiler understand that if it found for, it means it will start the looping construction. If it find if statement in your code, it means it is a conditional statement is going on. So these keywords have a special meaning to the compiler. That's why we shouldn't use these keywords as identifier. If you use any book, any standard book, so you will find the list of the keywords. So this is the keyword uh, abstract, and these are as you will find in any book or any website or anywhere. So you whenever when we will finish this core Java topic, almost more than 90% keyword will be finished. Some keywords are the special keywords which will be covered in a later session. So in core Java, more than 90% keyword will be covered. So we'll try to see in the sessions that how to use these keywords and what is the meaning of these keywords in Java programming. This slide is very important, and just note down these points, because this is important in terms of the interview also. Uh, some literals are also reserved in Java. Literals, what is literal? I'll tell you in the next slide. So some literals, these are the literals, that is null, true, and false. These three literals are also reserved. Okay, so just remember this point: null, true, and false. As you know, Java takes the keyword that is reserved in the C, C++. So Java has also reserved keywords at the const and goto, but these reserved keywords are not currently in use, but these are reserved. Just remember this point. These two keywords are still reserved, but not in use. So const and goto we don't use in Java programming. In place of const, because const is used to declare the constant in C and C++. So in place of const, there is a keyword introduced in Java that is called final. We use the final, and final has a special meaning. And the goto is used for the jumping statement. So if you have learned the C and C++, and when the goto statement is discussed, maybe your trainer or your teacher said that don't use goto because it is unconditional jumping statement, so it is bad, it is not recommended to use in the programming, that is goto and goto statement. So that's why Java remove these keywords in use but still reserved. So two keywords are not in use in Java, that is const and goto. Three literals, that is these are null, true, and false, which are reserved in Java. I will tell you that what is literal, but just look at the primitive data types. So these are the data types which comes under the category of primitive. Java has 8 primitive data types. As you can see, the byte, short, int, long, float, double, char, and boolean. And as you can see, here is a mention the size of every data type. Byte has 1 byte, short has 2 bytes, integer 4 bytes, long 8 bytes, float 4, double 8 bytes, character 2 bytes here. But you will find 1 byte in C and C++. So don't be confused. In Java, char has 2 bytes in a size. Boolean has 1 bit. Boolean has only 2 value, that is true or false, and it consists only 1 by 8 bytes, means 1 bit. All these data type from starting to long, means byte, short, int, long, is used to store the natural numbers, the whole numbers we use to store into these data types, and accordingly to the size it stores the values. And float and double is used to store the floating point numbers. Floating point numbers means fractional number, suppose 2.5, 3.4, something like. So if you want to store those type of the value, you will use float and double. Char is used to store the character, and boolean is used to store the boolean value, that is true or false. Every data type has its range, and range calculation is very easy. If you want to calculate the range, that how much the minimum and how much the maximum value will be stored in a particular type of the variable, you can calculate it. So byte has 1 byte the size, so you can say it has 8 bits, because the value is stored in the computer is in the form of bits. So it ranges from bit has only 0 and 1, minus 2 to the power n minus 1. We will consider the size of this bits as n. Okay, so the value will be 2 to the power n minus 1, that is 2 to the power 7. So minus 128, you will calculate it, minus 128, and 2 to the power n minus 1 minus 1. This will be the positive value. So the byte data type variable will hold the minimum value, that is minus 128, and the maximum value, that is plus 127. So if you want to store any value in the range of minus 128 to 127, it is recommended to store the byte value, to use the byte variable. If the range increases, then we should use the short. After that, if you have the more value, then you can use the int, then long. So in this is the table that shows the range of any data type. Character has the 16 bit, as 2 bytes. So it starts from 0x0, that is hexadecimal value in 16 bit, to 0xFFF. In hexadecimal, as you know, the minimum value is 0 and the maximum value is F. So it put the value in 4 bit, as you can see, hexadecimal. Why we use the 4-bit hexadecimal? Because Java supports uh, Unicode character sets. There are two types of the character sets. One is called unis. One second, I'll open the notepad. As you know, I'll use the notepad as whiteboard. So in C, the character set is called the ASCII character set. Okay, and in Java supports the Unicode character set. So Unicode character set represented in 4-bit hexadecimal value. So as you know, the minimum value in hexadecimal, that is 0, and the maximum value will be F. So this is 0x to F, and that's why Java supports all the languages, either that is English, Hindi, Chinese, or any other language. So you will find all the character codes in the Java. A floating point value that you can see, float, that is 32-bit and 64-bit. So there are two parts. One is mantissa, and second one is the exponential part. So you can find the minimum and the maximum value accordingly. Boolean, yes, Boolean has only two values, that is true or false. And remember this point, you cannot replace this true to 1 or any other value, or false to 0. In Java, true means you have to write the true and you have to write the false. You cannot replace true to 1, and you cannot replace false to 0, as the previous languages support, like C and C++. In C, as you know, uh, if we talk in terms of the C, 0 means false, and any positive number, or any negative number represents true in C programming or in C++. But in Java, true means true and false means false. False means false. You cannot replace true as a number and false as a number. And this, as we have seen in the previous slide, these are some reserve literals, that is true and false. So true or false are reserved for the Boolean. Okay, that's why it is reserved. So in the next, we'll see why null is reserved. We'll see in the coding part later. So now come to the identifier. Identifiers are the programmer defined tokens. Means you will define the tokens, that is the naming of the classes, methods, variables, packages, and interfaces in a program that you define are called the tokens. And when you define these tokens, you have to follow some rules, and these tokens are called identifiers. So Java says the identifier, they can be a set of alphabet, digit, underscore, and a dollar character. So identifier can consist alphabet, digits, underscore, and a dollar character. So there are two special characters that is allowed in Java identifier. One is underscore and second one is dollar character. And you can have the alphabet, capital or small, it doesn't matter, digit, that is 0 to 9. They must not begin with the digit. So identifier should not begin with digit. Uppercase and lowercase letters are distinct because Java is case sensitive language, and they can be of any length. So there is no bar that what will be the length of your identifier. So you can put any length of the identifier when you define any tokens in your coding. So remember these points, because if you are aspirant for the job, so whenever you will go for any online test, then there may be some identifiers. They will ask that put which one is legal identifier, which one is illegal identifier. Even if you want to participate in my Microsoft Java programming online test and the Oracle OCA or OCP. So these kind of the question will be asked uh, in your exam. Now come to the literal. Literal means the sequence of the character. Character means the digit, letters, and other characters that represent a constant value to be stored in a variable. So in short, I will explain in short. Just wait. I'll open the code. This one. So this is the code that we have designed yesterday. Now come to here. So if you declare any variable, for example, the variable of type int, then you will write int and the name of the variable like a. And if you write any value, so this is the constant value that you store into this a. This value is called, literal. This value is called literal. So any constant value that you store into the variable is called literal. And the literals are segregated in 5 types. One is called integer literals, second one is called floating point literal, third one is called character literal, string literals, and Boolean literals. So now we'll see that what is integer literal, floating point, character, string, and Boolean, and it is also very important. So look at here. So integer literal means this is the integer literal that you store the value into the variable that is the integer type of the value. These value can be stored in different format. Okay, so if I declare another variable b is equal, and if I store this one 0 1 2, if I write this one, okay, so this is also called literal. This is also called literal, but this is the literal in octal form. This is the octal form literal integer value. If we start any value to store with the 0, the computer automatically understand that this value is octal value. In the same way, if you store any value like start with the 0x, so this will be a hexadecimal octal value for the C variable. So you can put any value 1, and as you know, hexadecimal start from the 0 to F, so you can put any value like this. Or we can put any value like integer d is equal. If we start with the 0b. It is the binary, and as you know, binary consists only 0 or 1, so you will write only 0 and 1 form of the value. Okay, so this is the decimal. This is the decimal value, pure decimal. A will be stored 12. This is the octal, so B will not store actually 12. It will store the equivalent, the decimal value into the B. If you want to see, then we can see this system dot out dot print, and the value of A is, now we'll see and print it. Now come to compilation and execution. So Java C, as you know, and my file name is anything.java. One second, I have made this class as public, that's why I will get the error. Okay, one more mistake, semicolon. Yes, so this is the thing that you will find when you will the code on using a terminal. So I will print it, and the class name is my class. So look at here. So A is 12, fine. What will be the value of B and C and D? So I'll copy it and I will print the value of B, that is B, the value of C, the value of D. So now again, since we have make changes in our source code, so once again we have to compile and then we need to execute. So as you can see, A is 12, B is 10. So if you convert this octal number to decimal, you will get 10, equivalent to 10. And if you convert this 1F equivalent to the decimal value, then you will find that is 31. Okay, and when you convert this 10101, then you will get 21. This is the equivalent decimal value that will be stored into D. So this is also these are called literals that you store into the variable. So these literals are under the category of integer literal. Okay, so as you can see, the first one is integer literals. I hope this one is clear to everyone. Now next one is the floating point literal. So remember this point in Java, if you write float, f is equal, and if any floating point value like 2.3, you will get error. If you want to check, then you can compile and check it. That is error incompatible type, possibly lossy conversion from double to float. Okay, so in Java, the floating point value, that is any decimal fractional value, it is by default double. It's a by default double. So you cannot store the double value into the float. That's why it says error. If you want to store any float value to the float variable, you need to suffix a small f or capital F to the variable. That is 2.3 or any value. 2.3 or capital. Now we'll see that we are getting any error or not. So now come to compilation. Compile. So no error. So just remember, if you want to store any float value into the float variable, then you need to suffix a small f or capital F, because by default fractional value is double. In the case of double, if I write double D is equal 1.3, so we will not get any error because by default it is double. I hope this is clear to all of you. Now, this is called floating point literal. These are floating point literals, the constant value that you store into the floating type of the data type, the variable. Next one is the character literal. Okay, now come to the character literal. Character literal means you can store char any character into the variable, and character is written in the single quotes, that is char c is equal in a single character. So this is called character literal. Now next one is string literal. So a string, as we have discussed yesterday, that a string you will write with the capital letter, and a string is a class. Make sure and remember this point, that you are writing S capital. A string S is equal, and whatever you will store into double inverted comma, this one is called string literal. This one is called string literal, and this will be stored into this S. So this is a string literal. Next is the Boolean literal. Boolean literal means you will create a Boolean variable, Boolean, B is equal, and you will store any value like true or false. And you cannot put any other value into the Boolean variable. Just remember this point. True or false, these are the reserved literal for the Boolean data type. So these are called the literals. So as you can see, there are three ways to represent. Actually, this slide doesn't have the okay. I forget to mention there are four types. It is not three ways. There are four ways: binary, hexadecimal, or octal, or decimal. So you can store any integer literal in the form of these number representation. Floating point, as we have discussed. Boolean, that is true or false. Character literal, string literal. Okay, this one is string literal, and I will read the points, because a string is treated here differently uh, with compared to C and C++. That's why in Java, string literals are enclosed within double quotes, that is hello. String literals are not only the sequence of character as in C, these are objects of type java.lang.string. Just remember this point. I will discuss this, what is java.lang.string and what is the object of this type in detail when we will discuss the string in Java. Java stores all the string literals in a string constant pool. What is a string constant pool? What is the heap? We'll see later and in detail. So for now, just remember this point. String literals are stored into a string constant pool, and these are object of type java.lang.string. And whatever you will write into double inverted comma, it is called a string literal. Okay. So whatever you will write in your program in double inverted comma is called a string literal. For example, if I write system.out.print and hello, so since I write some printing statement that is hello, it is also called a string literal. So this is all about that is mentioned in the slide. So we'll see in the detail what is this and where it goes to store, and what is the processing part takes on these type of the objects. Next is escape sequences. Escape sequences means these are some special combination character. Whenever it comes into your print statement, these value will be escaped and printed as it is. Suppose as yesterday I have assigned one assignment to you that print hello world into double inverted comma. So I hope you all have done that assignment. Is there any problem to do that? Good, Ming. Good. Good, Justin. Good. So, so have you used escape sequences? So to print hello world in double inverted comma, uh, hello, hello, are you getting my voice? Hello. Okay, okay. So I was asking that have you used escape sequence to print hello world in the double inverted comma or anything else? Yes, good, Hinduja. Yes, yes, this one. So I will explain few escape sequences that is frequently used in our programming. That's why. So one is if you want to print hello world in single inverted comma, so you can write like this. Okay. Now compile and run it. So it will print in single inverted comma. If you want to print this hello world into double inverted comma, just make sure Java says the whole printing statement should contain only one string to print. Okay, and this will be represented with the help of double inverted comma. Or if you concat any value, for example, plus and this, so this is valid because this operator, the plus operator, will concat two strings. So if I write H and E, so it will concat and print it. But if I remove it, so it will make error because from here to here, it is one string. So after that, you are writing one more string that is not permissible. So if you want that in your printing, double inverted comma should be printed. So you can use escape sequence that is slash and double inverted comma. So whenever it comes, it print this character after followed by the slash, this character as it is. So if I write this one, so like this. So this will print into your double inverted comma. So we'll see if any error. No, as you can see. So if you want to print these characters in your code, like slash t has a special meaning, n, f, r, single inverted comma, double inverted comma, or if you want to print slash in your code, you can use it. Slash n is used to go into the next line. So if any time slash n appears into the printing statement, it will print the rest of the statement into the next line. Look at here. So H and E is one line, and when slash n comes, then it move to next line. Got it? Next one is called slash T. Slash T is stands for tab. So whenever it comes into your printing statement, it takes a tab space and then print the characters. So compile and run. As you can see, H and E. After that, it takes a tab space and then it prints L, L, and O. Okay. Now come to one more that is hello, and this one is /r. Now, can anyone tell me that what will be the output of this program? Can you tell me what will be the output of this program? You can type your output. Okay, Hinduja, Justin says, okay, Meng, I'll tell you because /r, why I'm asking, because /n/d is very frequently we use in our program, but /r are rarely we use in our program, and this is that's why I'm asking it. /r is called carriage return. It is called carriage return. Okay, so first I'll show you that what is the output and then explain it. Fine. So come to the window, compile, and then run. So the output is LLO only. Okay, you know how the output is produced into the console. The output will be produced as, just look at the notepad. When it will start printing, so it will print first H, as you can see, one character. So it will print H. After that, it will print E. So this will be like this. Now it C to print /r. /r means called carriage return. Okay, carriage return means the cursor return at the beginning of the line. Okay, so this cursor is blinking over here, as you can see. So now it will move to its first position here. Now after that, it will print L. So when it will print L, it will overwrite to H, that is L. After that, it will print L. So it will overwrite to E, that is L. And after that, it will print O, that is O. So that's why we are getting LLO. Got it? Good, good. So to understand only that you are well understand this point or not, so I'll give you here one example. Hello, dear. And after that, I will write A, B, C, D. Now just tell me what will be the output of this program. Just tell me. It's a symbol. Hello, A, B, C, D. Hinduja says hello, A, B, C, D. Okay. Meng and Justin. Okay. Okay, no problem. Take your time and then write it. Okay, ABCD. Hello, ABCD. Meng says hello, ABCD. And Justin says ABCD. And okay, so I'll execute it, then explain it. Because the point should be clear. Okay. So this is the output, ABCDO space dear. Why? Now come to the notepad again one more time here. And this should be print. So H first print, so it will print H, then it comes to the E, that is E, then L, as you can see, look at here, HELLO, then space, then DEAR, dear, and after that it find /R. So it will move to its first position. Okay, now A. So it will overwrite into the H, A, then B. It will overwrite the B, then it will overwrite the C, then it will overwrite the D. So this, the only characters are A, B, C, D. So if after that it will finish it. So the output will be A, B, C, D, O, and there. So look at the output, A, B, C, D, O, and there. Now is it clear? Because these are the escape characters that we use in printing the characters or show the outputs in formatted form. Yes, starting from the, that's why /R is called um, cursor return, but the right word is carriage return. Carriage means the cursor that blinks into here, it will move to the first position, and after that it will start printing the characters and override the characters. That's why. Okay, so I hope this is clear. Good. Now in today's session we have discussed so many things. So I will come to the very first slide, and just I'm giving you 5 minutes. If you have any doubts related to these topics that we have already discussed in today's session, like keywords, identifiers, literals, and escape characters, if you have any doubts right now, then you can ask me. I am giving you 5 minutes to just recall, and if you are figure out any doubt, if you confuse any, if you are confused in any concept, you can put your questions right now, then we will move to the next topic. Or if you don't have any doubt, then you can put no doubt, then we can move to the next topic very quickly. Keywords, literals. Good, Justin. Very good. Very good, Hinduja. Second one is null. I'll Yes, Meng. Thanks. Thank you for your inputs. Null is remaining. I'll tell you why. What is the use of this null? Okay. Now come to the comments. In Java, there are 3 ways to comment. First one is documentation, that starts from /$ and after that you will write your documentation. Documentation means when you write your code, so you put the document form in the form of HTML. So that file can be converted into the HTML file to read it. I will show you that how to use it, this documentation comment. Second one is the single line comment that you know very well, because you know the C programming and C++. So single line comment is by using double slash, and multi-line comments is using slash, asterisk, and asterisk slash. So I hope these are you are aware these types of the comments. Documentation we'll see. Don't I will explain how to use documentation, but you have to wait for the some uh, classes. Now this one. This slide has only 6 points, but these 6 points are the soul of your Java programming. Primitive type, class type, interface type, variable, static, non-static, and local. So this slide is very important, and it will take some time to cover. So very patiently, just listen every point and note down. Now come to the coding. Then we'll come to this slide. Now, in a class, you can create your own methods. Methods means functions. So it is similar to define a function in C or C++. So first of all, we'll write the return type of the function. So I don't want to return any value, so I will write void, and I will write a method name get message. This is the method, and this is the method body. Void, name of the method is get message, and this is the method body. What we want to perform through this method, we will write the definition over here. So simple, I just want to print something, system.out.print. Okay, hello everyone. This is the message. Now if you want to use this method in your, or you want to call this method in your main, because main is the entry point uh, of your program. So first of all, you have to create object of this class. Okay, so this is create an object of the class. You need to create, and the syntax. What is the syntax to create it? The syntax is, first we will write the class name. Okay, then a reference variable. After that, we will write equal symbol, then put the new keyword. Okay, and after that we write the constructor. Right, new and the constructor of the class. This is the syntax to create any object of the class. So in the case of this coding, we have the class name as my class. So I will write my class reference variable, that is OB, is equal new, and the constructor and the class name has the same naming convention. So your constructor will be look like this. So this is the way that you create object of the class. Class name, reference variable, after that put the new, then class name or class constructor. This is after creating of this object, you can call the members of the class. So one member is get message, so you can write ob dot get message, and when you will call this method, it will execute it, and whatever you have written into your definition, it will execute it. Now come to the compilation and execute it. So as you can see, it prints hello everyone. So this is the way that you create a method in Java. This is the way that you create any object in Java, and after that you call the member. Fine. Now in this slide, there's mention there are so many things. One is called in declaration and initialization. So variable that you create can be of type of primitive, can be type of the class type, and can be type of the interface type. So what is primitive type, what is class type, and what is interface type? So come to this part. So if you declare any variable like this, integer a is equal 20, that we have seen there are 8 primitive data types. So if you create any variable of those data types, so this is called primitive data type. Okay, so this is called primitive data type because int is under the category of primitive. Next one is called class type. So ob, this is also a variable. So this ob is called class type variable. This ob is also called class type variable. As you can see, integer a is a variable. The type of a is int. Int is a primitive. So in the same way, my class ob, so ob is the type of my class, and my class is a class. So ob is a class type variable. So this is called class type variable. Clear? In the same way, if you define any interface, we'll see in the later session. If you define any interface and if you create any variable, so that variable will be called interface type. Okay, so this ob is called class type variable. The syntax to declare, that is type, identifier, and the value that you want to store. Next one is the variable can be static, non-static, or local. Static, non-static, and local. So what is a static variable, what is non-static variable, and what is local variable? So come to the coding. This variable is a type of primitive, and this is also called local variable. Local variables are those variables which are, yes, sorry. Now, is it clear? Hello, not clear. Okay. Maybe some network issues, so that's why. Let me fix it. Now it is clear. Hello. Okay. Okay, fine. So local variable means weather is cloudy here, so that's why maybe some network issue will be persist. So okay, so I'll try to maintain it. That okay, thank you, Induja, for your input. Okay, fine. So as you can see, this variable is declared inside a method. So any method, any variable that is declared inside a method is called a local variable. And local variable has a local scope, means you cannot access this variable to outside of this method. You cannot access it because it is local. If you declare any variable inside a class, direct inside a class, for example, integer a or integer x is equal 20, fine, you can define it. So this variable is called non-local variable, means you can access into any method. For example, if you have get message, so get message will access this x if you want to use it. If you have declare any other method, for example, void and show, like this, then this x is also available for this method. System dot out dot print x is equal this one. But if you want to access this a, you won't be able to access it because this a is local to this method. So local variable that is declared inside a method, this is called non-local, and it is also called non-static variable. Good. This is called non-static variable. If you want to declare any variable as static, so Java provides a keyword that is called static to declare a variable as static. So I will write static integer y is equal 30. So this is called a static variable. By default in a class, if you declare any variable, so this variable is non-static in a nature. To make any variable as a static, any variable, primitive or non-primitive, it doesn't matter. So you need to use a static keyword, static int y is equal to 30. If you declare any variable inside a method, that is called local variable. These three things are clear: static, non-static, and local. Good. Good, Justin. Thank you. Yes, okay. Now, I will show you some program and some example to better understand these variables working mechanism. So to understand it, you need to understand the programming paradigm and the programming storage mechanism. Okay. So I'm going to tell you some concepts. These concepts you will find in a standard book that is written by Sun Microsystems. So what are those things? Now come to object-oriented programming concept. And one important point, just note this point, this is important. A local variable cannot declare as static. Are you getting my point? A local variable cannot be declared as static. Okay, just wait a moment. I just come. Now, hello. Okay. Okay, thank you for informing. Not for me. Okay, Hinduja, just wait. Now, is it clear? Okay. So, okay, thank you, Meng. As I told you that just remember this point, and it is important that the local variable cannot be declared as static. So I'm going to delete all the things because it will make your code messy. So come to a very small program. So if I declare any variable as a static integer a is equal 30, so this variable, since we declare inside a method, that it will make it local, and as the concept says and the Java says, the local variable should not declare as a static. Let's check this one by compiling. So illegal start of the expression, you will find the error. Okay, so don't try to declare a static as a local variable. If you make this one as this, so this is fine, as you can see. If you declare any variable integer a is equal 30, can we declare it? Because one is a non-static that is declared inside a class, and one is local variable. Is there any ambiguity error? If I print a is equal, comma, sorry, plus a, just tell me what will be the output of this program if I write it like, so what will be the output? A is equal 20 or a is equal 30? Or any error? Thank you for your input, Meng. And what about Justin and Hinduja? Okay, Hinduja says 30, Justin says error. Okay, so this 15 minutes that I'm going to tell you is very important in terms of the programming. Most of the programmer makes a very big error and a very huge problem in this concept. So everyone just listen and understand this one. This one is a non-static variable that is declared inside a class, and you are declaring int a is equal 30, that is local. So if I print or I compile it, so first of all we'll check that is there any error or not. So there is no error. First thing, just remember this point. No ambiguity. If I write Java and if I run it, then we'll get the a is equal 30. In the same way, to make clear of it, so how will we access this a is equal 20 into this method? So this will be accessed through the object, since this is declared inside a class. So I will declare first of all an object that is new, my class. Sorry, ob is equal new my class, and this is object. Now if I want to access it, then I will write ob.a. This one. This is the way that we will access it. Good. If you want to see, then you can see it. That is a is equal 30, that is the first statement, and a is equal 20, that is the second statement. So if you want to access the variable that is declared inside a class into the method, okay, there is one more concept, but I will tell you later. Inside a class that you want to access into the method, then you need to create an object, and after that you will be able to access it. I hope this one is clear. Okay. Now, if I declare a static variable inside class that is 30, fine. So what is a static and what is a non-static? I am going to explain. Just wait. And I will make a variable, sorry, a method that is show value of the variables. I will write system dot out dot print a is equal plus a, and one more time, that is b is equal b. Delete it, make an object ob is equal new my class, and then I'll access ob dot show value, this one. So when you will compile and execute, you will see the value of a is equal 20 will be accessed and b is equal to 30 will be accessed over here. Have patience because there are so many things that will come. A is equal to 20 and b is equal to 30. I hope this one is clear, because a value is 20 and b value is 30. And why we are able to access, maybe this question comes into your mind, that why we are able to access a without object over here, and there is no need of object, and in this method we need to create an object, and after that we are able to access this a. Simple answer for now is this method is static and this method is non-static. Got it? So in non-static, there is no need to create any object to access the class level variable. You can access directly. But in case of the static method, if you want to access any class level variable, you need to create an object. Got it? Or one more time? Okay, just listen one more time. Yes, Hinduja. If you want to access any variable that is declared, if you want to access any method that is declared inside a class into any method that is declared static, you need to access through the object. As you can see, this method is static and I need to access this method. Since this method is non-static, so I need to create object, and after that I will be able to access it. Got it? But this method is non-static and I want to access this non-static variable inside this method, so no object is required. You know, Java's pillar is static and non-static. You can say two pillars are there. So if you understand the concept of the static and non-static, so you have completed 15% of Java's work. This is very important concept of the static and non-static. So one more time, I'm going to tell you, if you want to access any variable inside non-static method, then there is no need of object. If you want to access any member or the class inside a static method, object is required. I hope this concept is clear now. Okay, fine. Now, what is static and what is non-static? So, I will explain these concepts in the next session, that how the objects are stored and how these things are going to be accessed. So only two concepts I will explain, and then we'll bind up this session. We'll start this concept from the scratch of defining object. So what is object? As you know, object, if we talk in terms of the layman, object is a real world entity. So do you agree with this definition? So object is a real world entity, and if we say that any object is a real world entity, it means we say that the existence of the object. Real world entity means that object is in existence, has the existence in the real world. Okay, so if any object has existence, so object will have three attributes, and this is very important, and this is the whole soul of your coding. So it will have three attributes. Can you tell me the attributes? Object's three attributes? One is called every object. If I say that Hinduja is an object, so it will be fine because Hinduja exists in the real world. Ning is an object, yes, because you exist in the real world. Justin, you are an object, yes, you are an object because you exist in the real world. So anything that you find around you that exists in the real world is called object. And if any object exists, you identify those objects uniquely by its identity. Okay, we all are human, but if we want to identify any human, we identify that human by its name or any ID or anything that is unique. So every object has a unique identity by which we identify that object. Second one is called every object has its own state. State means the attributes. For example, if I say there is a student, so a student will have some attributes like the course, the subject, the date of birth, the name. So these are called the attributes of the object. So this is called state. So every object has its own state, because suppose few students having the course like Java, few students having the course like Python and C++. So the attribute is called the programming language. So every student having its own programming language state like Java, Python, C, and C++. So every object has its own state. And second one is, third one is called every object has its behavior, its own behavior. Behavior means the action. Action means when we perform uh, any working things, like when we talk, we walk, we eat, sleep. So these are the behaviors of any human being. So these are called the behaviors of the object. So any real world entity is called object. An object has three attributes. One is unique identity, then state, and then behavior. And if object doesn't have the unique identity, then that object will not exist in real world. For example, if you have any unique identification for your country, for example, uh, your ID number. So if your ID number has been removed from your name or anything, so you will not be existing, you will not have the existence in that country. So unique identification is very important, and if that object is not having the unique identity, this object will not exist in the real world. So I hope this three things are clear. Tell me. Yes, thank you, Induja. Yes. One, that is unique identity, Meng, you are asking. Okay, unique identity means by which you will identify the object. For example, a student is a class by which you can create as many as number of students. Okay, so if I create this object, for example, in this case, come to this example, this will make clear. This is an object of this class. That is my class. So by which you are identifying this object. You are identifying this object by OB. This is the ID of this object. If you want to create another object of this class, can you create the object OB again? Just tell me. Can you create this OB again? No. Why? Because one object that you have created has an ID that is OB. And we want to create a new object with the same ID that is OB. So this is not possible because ID must be unique to identify any object. So I need to change it like OB1 if I write. So it will be fine. So this is called ID, identity by which you are identifying that object. So OB and OB1. Technically, we say in programming, this is as a reference variable. Is it clear now, Meng? Okay, so we'll bind up this session here. Tomorrow we'll start from this topic, that is identity, ID, and state, and we'll move to the internal representation and storage mechanism of the programming. Then you will be able to write the code in the perfect manner. So I hope all things are clear. Thank you, Induja. Thank you for your input. Meng, do you have any question? Justin? Good, Meng. Good. Okay, so revise all the things that we have discussed today. And if you get any confusion in any point, then tomorrow you can ask first, then we'll start the session. Fine. So thank you for joining this session. Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye bye.